Today we're going to be looking at identifying and graphing different types of equations. To start us out, I've got a really cool picture that I found online of somebody who's carved an apple and done a really intricate job of it. The first type of equation we're going to look at is one that we're already familiar with. Linear equations, as the word implies, create lines. That's the root word. You can have lines that decrease from left to right. You can have lines that increase from left to right. You can have horizontal lines. You can have vertical lines. But with a linear equation, it needs to be straight. There needs to be no curvature with it. Our next type of equation we're going to look at is a quadratic equation, and those are parabolas. Parabolas make a U-shaped graph. With quadratic equations, they can also open downward. So something like this could also be a quadratic equation. Hopefully your line will look a little bit smoother than mine. Our third type of equation is a cubic equation. With a cubic equation, it starts in one direction, so from the bottom, and it escapes to the top. So it goes in a different order. So you could have a cubic that starts in the upper left, comes up, and then escapes to the bottom right. But the ends go off in different directions. With the quadratics, if we back up, they both go the same direction. So the ends with the red quadratic, where it's pointing up, they both go upward. The green quadratic equation, they both point downward. With your cubic, they go in different directions. So one points down, the other points up. Our third type of graph is an exponential graph. And an exponential graph, it starts out going very, very slowly, then all of a sudden it takes off and it shoots way up very, very quickly with its data. We're going to be graphing some of these. So the first steps in graphing these, we're going to set up a table. So step one, you're going to create a t-chart with x values of -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Then you will substitute the values, the -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. You'll substitute that into the equation for x and solve for y. Once you've done that, you will graph those ordered pairs. And lastly, you'll connect those points with a smooth line. So example 1, we've got the equation y equals 2x squared minus 4. Our first step is to take each of our x values and substitute it in for x to find y. So for the first one, I'm going to have 2 times -2 squared minus 4. So 2 times -2 squared minus 4. Well, -2 squared is -2 times -2. Negative times negative is a positive, so that's +4. 4 times this 2 out front is 8. 8 minus 4 is 2. Or 8 minus 4 is 4. So our first result is a 4. If I change this to a -1, -1 times -1 is a +1. 2 times 1 is 2. So then I'll have 2 minus 4. 2 minus 4 is -2. If I put in 0, zero squared is 0. 2 times 0 is 0. 0 minus 4 is -4. If I put in a +1, 1 squared is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 4 is -2. Then lastly, putting in a positive 2. 2 squared is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 minus 4 is 4. So that was step 2. Step 3, we need to graph these ordered pairs. So the first ordered pair is negative 2, 4. So left 2, up 4, make a dot. Second ordered pair is going to be negative 1, negative 2. So left 1, down 2. Third ordered pair is 0, negative 4. So over 0, down 4. Fourth ordered pair is 1, negative 2, so over 1, down 2. And the fifth ordered pair is 2, 4. Over 2, up 4. When you're dealing with this, the center point, make sure it's nice and rounded. You don't want any pointed edges. So round it out here. And this is going to be that U-shaped parabola or a quadratic equation. Let's look at the next one. Example 2, we've got y equals x cubed plus 1. Now, just like the last problem, if you want, you can show work and put all of these scratch works that I'm talking through. You can actually write those out if it helps you. So for putting in negative 2, we've got negative 2 to the third power plus 1. So negative 2 cubed, that's negative 2 times negative 2, which is positive 4. Positive 4 times negative 2 is going to be negative 8. Negative 8 plus 1 is going to be negative 7. If I substitute in a negative 1, negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1, times another negative 1 is going to be a negative 1. That's negative 1 times itself 3 times is negative 1. Negative 1 plus 1 is 0. If I put in a 0, well, 0 times itself 3 times is still 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. If I put in a positive 1, 1 times itself 3 times is still 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. And if I put in a 2, 2 times itself 3 times. Well, 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 plus 1 is 9. So let's graph these ordered pairs. Negative 2, negative 7 is going to be down here. Negative 1, 0 is there. 0, positive 1 is there. 1, 2 over 1 up 2 is there. And then 2, 9 over 2 up 9 is right there. So that is going to be a cubic equation. Now, unlike the cubic equation we showed a few slides back, it doesn't have to have these two bumps in it. It can be a bit more smooth like this equation here, and that's fine. Sometimes that happens. But again, please note that we're going in two different directions. I start, the left hand of my graph goes down in the negative direction. The right hand side of my graph goes up in the positive direction. You have two homework problems to try on your own. Make sure to graph these and create your T-charts to help you show your work. Have a great night.